Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Ray. I'm here with my buddy Paul.
It's okay.
And we are the No Color Thick Skin podcast. We just want to say thank you guys for all the support over these few weeks that we've been bringing you all this content. If you are new to our channel, if you don't mind hitting that subscribe button for us, we are on Spotify, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, and if you guys like what it is that we have here, we would like for y'all to join us on this ride that we're going on. So today, this is our episode 12. I can't believe that we are already here, Paul. Like, we've done 12 of these things, and it's just getting better and better each time. So it's been a great ride, my friend. So thank you a lot for that, man. Thank you a lot for that. So so without further ado, we're going to get started. It's been a little while since we've talked with you all and been here with you guys. So
it's been a little bit.
It's been just a little bit, man.
Yeah.
So Paul, what's been going on in your world, man, since the last time we spoke to our good people?
Oh man, let's see. My week has been crazy. Just getting back into the swing of things. I've hired a few people at my job. Getting into the swing of that kind of a schedule and still looking for more people. Let's see. Got some kids with birthdays going on. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And also, we went on vacation.
Wow.
We ended up going on vacation to San Diego.
Okay.
Got some family that lives out there.
Nice.
We went from here to Phoenix and then to San Diego, kind of like a two-leg road trip.
Smart. Yeah, smart.
And boy, it was real hot. It was real hot. It was 118 degrees in Phoenix.
Say that one more time.
118 degrees.
Oh, that's a little different.
Whole different kind of triple digits.
It's a little different.
Yeah, the ground was radiating heat. At 9, we're probably 10 o'clock at night, pitch black outside. It is still hot. It's so hot on the ground, it burns your feet still.
Man.
With
That's
the lights
tough.
are off in the sky.
And it is still so much heat.
Yeah.
The bottoms of your feet are like, I can't take it no more.
No, it's crazy. It's crazy.
So 118, man. So
Yeah.
when they say here, hey, it's 107, but it feels like 109. So if it's 118 there, do they say it's just 118, or do they say it's 118 it feels like 127?
I think they say something like
that's crazy to me.
It's maybe like 118 and it feels like death.
Yeah, all right. Okay. Gotcha.
Stay in the shade or inside.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah.
Got
Dang.
it. So you all had a nice little vacation, and so you spent some time with family out there in San Diego.
Yep, got to see some family, got to go to the beach. Oh man, and San Diego was just amazing weather every day, of course. And it was a really good time. It was good to see family out there and get a chance to kind of get away, get out of our daily grind here, and just go to the beach almost every day.
That's nice, man.
That was nice.
That's nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. Good food, good people out there. Good. It's good to see the family out there and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then we came back, and boy, was it a long drive back.
Yeah.
It wasn't exciting anymore. It was more like
what's that drive like from here to San Diego? Like, what is that?
Okay, so we did it in two days or whatever, two different trips.
Yeah.
So it's like basically if you drive the whole way straight, it's 6 hours between San Diego and Phoenix. And then if you drive from here to Phoenix or Phoenix to here, it's 16 hours straight, or 15 and a half, somewhere around there. Google will tell you that it will take 14 hours or just at 15 hours, but Google lies.
I mean, some flaws there. Okay.
Google definitely lies.
Yeah.
But it was the way that we went was a really pretty way. We went, if you look at it on a map, we were kind of going west and northwest, not just
straight.
There's a couple of different ways you can take it, and And the way that we went when we first went to Phoenix, which is kind of our first part of the trip, we went through a bunch of kind of no name towns kind of thing. But once we got into New Mexico, we started going up north a little bit. And then once we were in Arizona, we were pretty far north. And we went, if anybody's listening, you know where Sholo is in Arizona. It's kind of like Flagstaff, where it's very wooded and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so not what you think of when you think of Arizona. Arizona seems like it would be desert everywhere and stuff, but Flagstaff and Sholo and these places up north are very heavily wooded, and there's actually a mountain range that we went through on the way in and on the way out, because we went from Arizona, we went east and then north. To kind of make our way back to Texas.
So, coming back that way,
nice. But it was a bunch of really pretty scenery and stuff.
Yeah, it's always good to have a little bit of a different viewpoint coming back, and just having something different to see. That does help break it up a little bit. So
the first when we went there, we actually drove through Roswell, New Mexico.
Oh,
that was never been there. Oh. We didn't really stop there. We just kind of stopped to eat something real quick.
Yeah, just look around. That's cool.
And then on the way back, we went through Albuquerque, which is the more northern way back.
That's more suburbish, right?
Yeah.
Albuquerque is, yeah. So cool deal, man. Cool deal.
How about you, man?
It's great.
How's your week? Recent little bit.
So,
by the way, guys, we have really missed doing this. We've been gone for how many weeks now? 4?
Yeah. So this is it'll be 4 weeks since
we
did something, man.
Dang.
I don't like the sound of that.
Yeah, it's a long time to leave you guys hanging, and I apologize. But the way that it worked out, both of us needed a time to go, on vacation, and it just so happened to be the day that we usually meet to do this podcast. So
yeah, and it's crazy that the way that, because we didn't sync that up, like it just happened to where it was slipping my mind to say something every time that we talked and we spoke to each other. So that Tuesday, I was like, oh man, I forgot to tell Paul, and I was like, sorry, bud, like it slipped my mind. He's like, oh no, man, yeah, we can't record. We're on our way to California now.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, man. All right, so it just happened that way, but it was good because you needed to get away, the family to get away, and I had to do my getaway as well. So I'll talk about that a little bit, but the week has been pretty cool. Not a whole lot's been going on. This heat out here is it's pretty intense.
Oh.
And to all my brothers and sisters and whatever you identify yourself as, who are out here working in this heat, especially those that are undertakers, my heart goes out to you.
Oh, yeah.
Because transporting all those flowers to and fro, been out there at that cemetery, sweating it out. It's
thank you.
It's tough. So your boy, sending you some love. But that's, like I said, to anybody who's working out in that heat, but especially, my people, I got nothing but love for you. So with all that, like I said, the vacation kind of went into last week and going a little bit into this week. So not too much with work on that end, but I also took a trip and we drove to South Dakota. And I have a little one up there, so we went to spend some time with her, and that was a nice drive. It's 16 hours. So just like you,
same.
It's 16 hours from here to South Dakota. So I'll break it down to, I did do 10 that first run, and we stopped in Nebraska, and the kids were able to get out, and we stayed there that night, and then woke up the next morning and did the remainder 6, and got there and had a great time. It was a great visit. It was great to see her. And we went to the water park, so it was water park all day, every day, and we.
That's awesome.
It was just a great time, great deal. And
what was the temperature out there?
It actually reached 100 the last day that we were there.
Oh,
so it was. I'll say it was 97-ish. So everyone there was hot. We were just like, hey, this is
pretty
great.
normal.
Like, this is fine. Like we're good.
Y'all are just at 100.
So yeah,
okay.
just a 100. Like so, they were cheeks red and everybody is sweating everywhere. And I don't even think I broke a sweat like one time, like being out there, man. So, but it was nice. It was nice to get away. But that drive is something else on this boy. Y'all know I'm a thick boy. So that drive on these knees, man, it's tough. But I got worked out when I got back, and so I feel pretty good. But yeah, that was about it. Just hanging out. I know you're getting prepared for school to start back with the kids. So
yeah,
I'm excited about that. We both our kids are getting older, and it's just something else. Just seeing them grow, and I was looking at that. I was looking at the first photo of myself holding my son when he was born, and it's just
my
goodness, like now I look at him now, and it's like, who is this individual? So, but just getting ready for school to get back and get them in a rhythm, and just living life, man. So, but week's been good, travels were good, and I'm excited about the things to come in the next couple of weeks. So all the good vibes, right?
Yeah, all the good vibes.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. I am really excited for what is to come, and my wife got a new job, and we're going to see. Congratulations. I am so proud of my wife. She deserves all the, I've been telling her this for years, but she is a rock star, and she deserves a really good job that she's happy with, and to get paid a lot of money because she's worth it.
Hey, okay. Look at you, boy. Okay, I see you.
Yeah.
I see you, boy.
So
championing your wife. Okay.
Yeah, she is a queen, but she's a very, very smart woman, and she is boy. A lot of people I could learn a lot from her, and so could everybody. So
nice.
Anyways, So guys, we are doing an episode today about a few different things. Nothing in one topic in particular. But I think we can go pretty deep on what we've got with this. And
oh man, yeah.
Wow, this is just going to be kind of interesting. So, you want to tell us what we're getting into?
So, and this is, I guess, 2 weeks, I believe, that we're in on this right now. So, there was an incident that took place with funny man, comedian, super bad star, Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
So, we wake up one day and we're seeing all of these reports of Jonah Hill being this manipulative, just person
Abusive.
who's just abusive, horrible individual who's controlling and who just was a terrible person and who's doing bad by his current lady who's in his life. I'm not sure what their status is. I don't think they're married just yet. But the current girlfriend, not the former. So the current girlfriend who he has a child with, he just had a child with, she was kind of insinuating that he, in the beginning of their relationship, was doing some foul things. She released some text messages and stating that he was doing bad by her. And I was just like, what is going on with people? And I just didn't understand why people took it to that level to speak so negatively about this man who, in all purpose of what we saw and everything that we saw, stated just some preferences that he wanted in his relationship to a lady that he was in a relationship with.
Okay, so I think do you think it would be helpful for us to like say what he kind of exactly said? I mean, in a nutshell.
I mean, if you want to get it down pat, yeah. I mean, share it.
So, I think it was an Instagram story. His ex's name is Sarah Brady.
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And Sarah Brady is the one coming
Surfer.
up
Like
with
she's a
she's a
surfer or
surfer,
something,
you know,
yeah.
and surfer model type of thing. Maybe even doing a little bit of Hollywood stuff. I don't know, but for sure modeling. You know, bathing suits and stuff, and
Putting those things out to
put those things out there.
them heavies.
You know, I can kind of get where she's coming from on like, you know, my wife and I have had conversations where it was like, you know, it was pretty early on in our relationship. But you know, I didn't feel very comfortable with what my wife was wearing a couple of times, you know, and basically what I said to her was way, 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 way less cordial and nice and well thought out than what Jonah Hill said.
Paul.
And but you know, I thought I was being like, you know, just being transparent. At least I was being, you know, open about how I felt with my wife. But what Jonah Hill has said to his ex-girl, Sarah Brady, is that what his preferences were, you know, like, hey, I would prefer it if you if you're not friends with a whole bunch of guys and, you know, going to hang out with a bunch of dudes, basically. And I would prefer it if you're not taking a bunch of sexualized pictures or doing, you know, modeling in a bunch of sexualized pictures. And I would prefer it if you're not, you know, doing these things. And I want to say, I don't have the exact quote in front of me here, but I think he said something along the lines of, if this is what you want, like this relationship, you know, then that's what it was. But at the end, he's like, I totally understand if this is not for you. And if so, no hard feelings, no bad juju.
No ill
we
will.
can go.
I don't want anything bad
no
to
ill
happen
will.
to you. Yeah, none of that. Yeah, this is just my preference. So if I'm in this relationship with you now, I don't care if, you know, you used to do these things before we were together, or you just started to do these things as we've been together for a while. This is just something that I'm just not feeling, and I'm coming to you to share this with you. Hey, I would prefer that you not do these things, but if these are things that you have to do or you feel that you need to do, right on. But for me and the mental capacity in which I'm in right now, I just don't want to do that. And man, these people put Jonah through the ringer. Like when you would hear these things. Oh, go ahead.
Misogynist.
Oh my goodness. And you know, toxic masculinity. There's like toxic masculinity that doesn't make sense at all. So if you're saying that, it's crazy. Masculinity is just toxic masculinity. So masculinity is just masculinity. Being toxic, you can just be a toxic person. Like just a person is toxic. It has nothing to do with masculinity, because masculine men are masculine, and that's who we are. Like it's nothing about showing your masculinity is toxic, and y'all just throw these words together. So a toxic person is just toxic, period. And I don't
100%.
care what they identify as. So, but the people just putting him through the ringer like that, I was just like, oh my goodness, like what in the world is going on right now? This man just laid out, hey, this is just a preference of what I would prefer. And women share their preferences in things all of the time. It's like, how can you have a preference and this man can't have a preference? Or if he says in one of the text messages, hey, this is a boundary of mine. I hear women say boundary and be open with your words and use terminology and this, that. He was wanting to set a boundary on certain things, and him using boundary said to some people that he was trying to be controlling. And it's like, how do we do this? And why is this the way that it is? I just don't understand why it works this way and it doesn't work on the other end. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so it does seem like a double standard where a female has her preferences. A female has her preferences. She wants a tall guy that makes X amount of money, has a certain size shoe.
No,
has
they said nose is also a
nose.
They said nostrils.
Maybe it's
too
nose.
now,
It could be.
it's the new
You know
thing.
what? It's some body part. Anyway, and then what color this is even.
Hey, hey,
And there's all
Chocolate
kinds of
berry.
preferences that girls have. But when a guy has a preference and he says, you know what, if you want to
Insecure.
move forward,
You're
this is how.
you're
And
insecure. You're insecure. You're,
Yeah.
you're showing your insecurities. Is what you're
oh,
doing.
or you're toxic, and your toxic masculinity
And since
is
you
showing.
like that younger
And-
girl, you must like little girls, and you're a PDO.
Oh,
And,
dude.
when it's like, why do y'all go to those extremes? It's so bad. And she also stated after a couple of days, I have more proof, and she put a couple of other text messages out, and it was just like, ma'am,
Did not prove her
ma'am,
point.
ma'am. Who in her family can just pull her to the side and just say, just go sit down somewhere, because this is terrible. It's absolutely terrible. This man went to therapy, and he was using the correct terminology. He went to therapy with you, was using the correct terminology and doing those things to work, and you're
Yep.
saying that he was using that against you. It's like,
Yep.
come on, guys. And so you have the Jonah situation, and now we're in a situation where, there's a woman who is being accused of some things, a woman in celebrity now who's well known, Lizzo, is now being accused of some things now. I guess some of her former dancers are suing her for some things that she made them do on tour. I think some things involved a certain fruit going into certain things. I guess there's a show overseas where you take a fruit, and you got the Googles. Do your Googles, and y'all can figure out what she was doing with those plantains and things of that nature. But it's a wild story, and to see the support and so many people who I know who are a part of the council culture say things like, "Hey, let's wait till we get all the facts. How about we let this thing play out? How about we, not rush to judgment right now.
Oh my gosh.
They have grace. It's amazing how those people, they have some grace at that moment in time. And I'm like, wow,
For them.
that's amazing that you can show this grace and this maturity and say let's get the facts. Like let's do that for this individual who you worship, or who you feel that you have some admiration for, or who's done positive works and whatever it is that you like about this individual. But someone who you necessarily don't see eye to eye, who looks different than you don't show them that same grace. I just don't like people being hypocrites. I can't stand it. So hypocrisies, like, that's who you are. You just flip flopping, and I don't get it. I don't get it, and that's part of those double standard things that I just it's like you want equality, but you don't want equality. Then there's double standards, but it's like everybody should be judged this way or not. I'm just confused, man.
Preach.
I'm confused. I don't want to preach. I don't. Do you remember what? So I went viral last year for a post that I put out involving double standards, and you would have sworn that I, slapped any high profile person's daughter in the face with the backlash that I got from. I'm talking about from tens of thousands of people. Like, I'm serious. It was just a throwaway line, me just stating that just for me, when I get married, I am going to be proposed to. That's how I'm going to get married. I'm not saying that that's how everybody gets married, but if I'm with someone, I would love for my girlfriend to present me with a 1970s Lincoln Continental and say, "Hey, Ray, I think you're a swell guy. I think you're awesome and amazing. I want to marry you. This is your wedding car. This is your engagement car." Damn, wow. Yeah, I would love to marry you. And it was a joke in a sense, but I don't understand why it's so crazy that to think that a woman shouldn't propose to a man or a woman can't do that. I'm not saying that that has to be the norm for anyone, but if we live in a
That
society,
would be true equality too, though.
that's true equality. That's my whole point. That's true equality. It doesn't matter who does the proposing. And like I said, when I put that out, my friend, I got DMs, emails. I mean, the post, I think it reached like 17,000 shares, and it was just I was getting calls from people all over the United States, emails from people out in like Australia and all types. Oh, it was absolutely insane. My phone was hot for like days, just buzzing. So, yeah,
Wow.
it's just insane. But that's part of those double standards where it's like,
I didn't realize that was that viral of a post.
oh, I'll show you a couple of things. Some things I had to
Wow.
delete, but I got called a few names. We'll keep it at that. So,
Jeez, dude.
but that's just one of those things. Like I said, the double standards, we see that all the time, and the equality versus the selective equality that some people look at. It's I just don't get it.
Well, I think that so part of the weird thing about this Jonah Hill issue in general, or in particular, is that he is being accused of getting, and I don't think any charges have been filed or anything like that, but I guess his ex-girlfriend is saying that he emotionally abused her. And that is, you know what? Do I really care what two celebrities say about each other through social media? No, I really don't. But I do have an opinion about how one thing is not the same as the other, and it's very obvious that, you know, when one person says, I just want to go out with the girls and I just want to, you know, go dance in a circle around our pocketbooks and take our shoes off. And then, you know, okay, cool. That's totally cool. That's not what I want. You know, if we want to call this a serious relationship, you know, you probably wouldn't want it if I was going out and, you know, doing guy stuff with the dudes around a bunch of intoxicated women.
So let's let's use that example that we all know. Anybody who's been in a relationship, we know. Let's say, and for time's sake, please don't counsel us. I'm just going to say man, woman, this person, like that's it. So if a man is dating a woman and this young lady goes, hey, we're going out with the girls this weekend. So all the girls getting together. And so we know what that entails. Let's say a girl goes to a bar, there are men there, they're going to be buying drinks, they're going to be doing all these things, flirting, all of that. We know what's going to happen. Although that's not your intentions as that woman or that group, maybe a couple may want to do that, but the girls want to just get together and do those things. But that is the environment that you're in. Let's flip the script. Let's say Paul says, hey, I want to go out. And Paul is going to a place where he is the minority in this place, and there's a majority of women in this establishment. These women are looking at Paul like he is just he's smelling like just medium, just amazing.
Smell like a dozen roses.
Just amazing. And all these women, all the women in there are trying to buy Paul drinks. They're flirting with Paul. They're telling Paul that he's amazing. They're trying to get Paul intoxicated so that Paul can leave and go home with them. That is the area in which Paul is in. How many women are going to want their man to go to this environment where all of these women are gawking over them, buying them drinks? Mm-hmm. And these are women who, hey, they may look better than the girl that you with. Like these, look at it may be a couple of supermodels in there. It may be a couple of baddies, maybe a couple of CEOs in there, because I mean, good looking. Because I mean, usually when you go to the bar, it's like the good looking guys are like hitting on these girls, and I mean, hey man, I don't have a six pack, but if you dudes with six packs, ripped and looking great, trying to get whatever they can get. Let's just say all these Instagram baddies are trying to get with Paul. Like, do y'all want us to be in that situation?
It doesn't have to be me in particular.
No, I'm just saying, do we want Paul to be in that situation? No. y'all don't want him there, or let's just insert any man. You all don't want your significant other to be in that place with all of those women surrounding them. So it's like, that's just one of those things where, hey, it's just girls' night. We're just doing this. I think they fail to realize how crazy that would sound if we were to put that scenario in front of them.
Yep.
So
yeah, and I don't think it's, like I said, I don't think it's a big deal that, I've been married for 14 years, and I understand what it's like to go through a situation with somebody, and you're a little bit jealous, you're a little bit anxious about them leaving your side because you value them so much, but you're also like, no, you're mine. And then you have to realize later on that they're not yours, they're a part of you.
Yeah.
And if you trust them enough, you can let them go. You can find it in your mind to let them go to do things and not worry about them cheating on you or looking at somebody that's better looking than you, or just realizing that they could go to the grocery store and see somebody that's better looking than you.
100%.
And okay. 100%. And the world isn't different, like, get over yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But I digress. I will say that it is totally, in my opinion, normal to tell somebody how you feel, and it's good to be open with somebody that you're in a relationship with, like, hey, I've got a problem with this. Maybe it is even an internal problem with you. At least you're talking about it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't constitute as emotional abuse until you're like, hey, you can't go out anymore.
Exactly.
And then it's like, okay, well, the emotional abuse would be like, hey, there's no way out. Okay, it's different in that situation, right? The emotional abuse would be like, hey, you can't go out anymore. I just won't it doesn't matter how nice you are about it. You can't go out anymore. And also, I don't want to break up. Like, you can't go out and there is no other choice.
These are your options. This is it. It's just this, this.
And you are with me and you're not going to go out. Mm-hmm. That's emotional abuse. This, to me, doesn't strike me as emotional abuse because there is a way out. He gave her a way out multiple times. He says, hey, look, this is my thing. Mm-hmm. It's because of my past. If this doesn't work for you, I totally get it. Let's like not keep going in this direction if you're not cool with this, like, I don't want to hold you back, I
don't want to hold you back. If this is something you want to pursue, if this is what you feel that you need to do, peace and blessings, like, continue on going down this path. But just for me, if this isn't working for me, I can't do that. If that's something that you want to do, go ahead and do that. But you're not going to be in a relationship with me. Right.
I think that's just easy. Maybe it is a little bit forward for some people, and maybe it could have been phrased differently. But honestly, the way that Jonah Hill said it, it was very good, very, very good for a dude. And also, it was so like, almost encouraging, like I'm not looking down on you for what you want to go do. If this is what you want to go do, and if we don't work out, that's totally fine. No hard feelings. We're good. But this is what I want and this is what I need, I've known guys that were like that in the past that said that kind of a thing to a girl, and it made the girl want them more most of the time.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay.
But I feel that's just part of being a man, being direct, being open, being honest. And a lot of times that's what has deterred a lot of the relationships I've been in, because I'm very forward. I think my sister says that I'm King A-ho. She may be. I don't know. She may call me that. But I'm just very forward. And if I see it XYZ, I'm just going to say it's XYZ. I don't really have a filter when it comes to how I feel or my emotions. I'm never disrespectful to anyone, but if I don't really mess around with it, like I don't mess around with you, it's no faking the funk or anything like that. But I just cannot do the flip-flopping and things of that nature. So I'm just very direct. I just like to be a direct person. If you don't like something about me, tell me you don't like it about me. And if we can get past that, or if we can work on it, or if we can come to some sort of a place to where we can have, some resolve, or we can work in that. Because I don't like the word compromise, because when people say like, let's compromise on this, it's like, I hear compromise, and I hear, people when they're like our soldiers and like our, we've been compromised. And it's usually like somebody came in and everybody about to die. So I don't want to hear compromise, but what's a resolution that's going to be good for you, good for myself, and let's make that thing what it is. So,
what do you guys think? Do you think that's? I like I said, I don't really care so much about it being Jonah Hill and somebody else, but when I think it's a good thing when one part of a couple at least is very open about how they feel about things, and they're like, hey, this is how I feel about this. Because what I have seen in the past is that two people get in a long-term relationship, and then later on down the line, they're like, "Oh, I can't do this. I don't want to subject myself to whatever it is." Much later on, as the relationship has supposedly matured, and now the other person is like, you didn't have a problem with that in the past, why can't I go do X, Y, Z? That seems to be pretty not cool. But anyway, as far as the Lizzo thing goes, that's just so strange, because it's like you have whoever is backing her, which I'm sure is all different kinds of people, but there's a particular group of people that is backing Lizzo. They are very particular about who they back and who they don't, and it's funny how these allegations are coming out about her making her dancers go do a lewd act, and now their crew is like, oh, don't make any assumptions. Not all the information's out there yet. Don't jump on her just yet. And that's what their group is saying. Versus when it's anybody else, some kind of gossip comes out about somebody, and they just jump right all over them. They get railroaded.
Chop them down.
They lose their jobs.
Chop them down, find them, just tear their whole life to shreds.
Yeah.
With no proof or anything. Yeah, just go.
Yeah. No, just the news and the gossip, and that's good enough.
Yeah. That's
if the news gets if the gossip gets in the news, that's when it's like, oh, this is the truth.
It's
crazy
sauce.
It's
maddening. It is a headache, to say the least, man.
So some other stuff that came up is the family that was pulled over in Frisco.
Man.
Okay, so let me just say this.
Oof.
I am actually a really big fan of the Frisco Police Department. It seems like they have a really good crew over there.
Nice.
I have personally met a bunch of them, and this happened a few weeks ago now. But you know kind of what happened. Why don't you tell us?
Well, so first off, there are a few departments here in like North Texas area.
Oh my gosh, there's
police
so many
departments that are. There's some pretty cool ones, like some guys who really are some cool dudes, and they'll talk with you, keep it real with you. Now there are some that are just aggressive for sure, but there are a few that are good, and I've had some pretty good run in with Frisco and talking with them. So I can echo those same sentiments. So,
and he's worked with a bunch of police because. And a lot of interactions with them because of dealing with people that are deceased and stuff like that.
Absolutely, just different causes and where you're going to. Yes, I have. So when it came to this situation, so it was a family was driving an automobile, get pulled over. I guess the police person took their license plate, put it in their system, and I believe mistakenly it was either instead of doing Alabama or something, ended up putting Arkansas or either Arizona, something
AZ
to where
instead of AR.
Yeah, something along those lines to where the license plate was put into their system incorrectly, and it came back that the car was possibly stolen.
Yep.
And the police person went to the folk. They were asking them questions. There was like, no, we're here for just a basketball tournament. And then some backup came and guns were drawn, and each individual in the car was pulled out of the car. It was on a major intersection, a major highway here in North Texas, and there's video footage of the people hands up and they're walking back. And I'll tell you, those are some tense moments.
Yeah.
I've been in a situation where I was mistakenly identified in a situation that I was not a part of, and I've had guns drawn on me. And this was, I'm not even going to say the age I was because it'll probably freak everybody out.
What was it?
And it was it was a tough thing because I was by myself. My friends were in other cars. They saw what was going on, but it was just me, myself, and these cops with their guns drawn. They thought that I would fit the description of someone else, as I stated. So I can relate to this video. I believe once more backup showed to the scene, one person realized that, hey, I believe you put the license plate in wrong. And so word gets out that, okay, this cop actually put the license plate in wrong. This was just a family here on a basketball tournament. And, this man, this woman, and, these children, they're going to have to sit with this situation that happened to them forever. And my heart goes out to them. And it's just one of those situations where, high stake professions, it's like you just cannot make mistakes, unfortunately. And, this was a mistake that was made. It was a human error. We're all human, no matter what it is that you do. If you lay concrete, if you do sheetrock, if you, mow lawns, if you're a landscaper, if you sell coffee, if you sell insurance, if you work in a church, if you work at a library, we're human at the end of the day. But there are some professions where, unfortunately, mistakes just cannot happen, and that was just a huge mistake. If one wrong thing could have happened, if someone was, nervous and just couldn't control themselves, someone could have been hurt, or even worse, and all over just a mistake.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know how to. I don't identify with this situation at all, but from what I gather from hearing the interviews and stuff like that, what it seems like is, I mean, the person. Okay, so it's the police. The Frisco police pulled over some people from out of town, basically with an out of town license plate. They typed in the wrong number to the license plate or the wrong state. And the state that it pulled up, the license plate came back as being a potentially stolen car, right? So they go up there with their guns drawn, and they're, telling people to calm down and get out of the vehicle, and, they've got their guns drawn like they mean business. And the reason why police do that is because they feel like their life is in jeopardy. That's why they draw their guns. Mm-hmm. And they don't want it to turn into a big gunfight if it is like, a stolen vehicle and somebody's got, guns in the car and that sort of thing. And they did say that they had a gun in the vehicle in the glove compartment. And so they're like, hey, blah, blah, blah. And they're giving them commands. And I didn't see the thing that they did. I didn't watch the body cam footage of the son. The son is obviously, a tall kid. He's in basketball. And, they had him kind of separate, and they ended up putting him in the police or patrol vehicle.
So, yes.
And what they do that for also is to keep them aside so they can talk to the parents. And I only know this because I've got a lot of friends in law enforcement.
A lot of law enforcement friends.
Yeah, but that's also a really freaky situation for parents, because as a parent, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, y'all made a mistake, and this is going to sit with me for a long while. Like how much power, how much authority am I giving somebody else to keep our streets safe? Yeah, you're giving them the power of being able to pull you over and keep a gun out just in case you get out of line. But hopefully, the police that we pay so much for and that we put in those positions are smart enough to, figure out the situation. This was a big mistake.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Right?
Unfortunately, for sure.
But I feel like it's also a mistake that could have been like a similar situation of almost having a really bad accident. Or like, just something that changes like, for example, when I was listening to this, I was thinking about like how when I was, I don't know, in my early 20s, I got a motorcycle. I was pulling into a parking lot, and I had only ever had good situations ever happen on my motorcycle. Some scary, but never bad situations. And I'm pulling into this parking lot on my motorcycle, and I'm very cautious. I look everywhere, and there's this lady coming straight towards me going what felt like 20 miles an hour on the wrong side of the road and nearly runs me the heck over. Oh, and so I give it the gas and I turn really fast just so that her minivan barely misses me, and I lay the bike down, this brand new bike. And I'm just like shocked, like, oh my gosh, how did that? And then she just pulls away, never comes back.
I didn't say anything. Yeah.
And she nearly ended my life, and she had no idea that she did that. Right? No apology, no nothing. And ever since then, I looked at riding a motorcycle differently, and it did give me nightmares. It did make me think. And I currently do ride a motorcycle, and it really does. It changed me forever. So in that kind of aspect, I feel like this is the situation that should have been so many other situations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like nobody was shot. Nobody was no knees on necks. No. This is a situation that it should have been so many other times in the past. And I feel like, yes, it was a huge mistake, but it could have been so much worse. And I'm so not impressed or whatever, but I'm comforted that, us here in Texas did something that didn't go to that crazy extreme of some other places that, they have gone in the past. That's all. I'm not proud of these guys, but it was a big mistake.
Okay.
But
so
that's just my thought.
And I hear, and that's why I'm taking that in.
Yeah.
And I thank you for saying that, because, boy, that's good. Okay, just give me a second. Just give me a second. I'm taking that in because we have seen so many other situations that were mistakes, that were unprovoked, just situations that should not have gone the way that they went. And I am thankful and I'm glad that even in this situation where it was a mistake, that the mistake did not result in the outcome that we've seen in so many other situations that were mistakes or mess ups and cover ups and things of that nature from others. So I can step back, boy, I can step back and say I do understand. I'm struggling. I'm struggling right now, but I'm glad you put me in this space right now so that I can look at this and I can say, the phrase I love, two things can be true at the same time, because I'm saddened and I'm hurt that happened to that family. I am.
Absolutely.
But I am also able to say I'm thankful and I'm glad that although this mistake happened and it is something that the family will sit with, and it's a tragic situation, it could have been a bigger tragedy, and it could have been so much worse. So I thank you for saying what you just said, so that I could look at it from this point. And that's not, like we said, we're not championing the people who were there. We're not doing all that or making light of by any means. But I am glad that we got this outcome and not another outcome.
Oh my gosh.
Boy.
Yeah.
Boy.
Well, and the to me, this is just me talking here, and I know that this is going to give me some flack. I know it is. I hope you look at me the same after this. I'm going to push a little bit further. Are you ready?
Let's go. We go deep. That's what we do. So let's go. If I cut these cameras off, and some furniture get the moving.
I'm done.
This is gonna be some. No.
Well, I think it is interesting. Usually, okay. So our unfortunately, what we've all kind of learned here over the last, I don't know, about 8 years, is that maybe even more than that, but very out in the open, our perception of what is going on in the world is very cleverly crafted by the news, unfortunately. And unfortunately, there is two opposing sides, and there's so many of one side going on that the other side just, and you know, the truth is somewhere in the middle, right? But in this case, it is very interesting that we get to hear about it because the arresting officer was black.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that were the people that kind of have the complaint and also the mistake happened against is they were black as well. It's not very often that we hear about those.
Yeah, for sure.
And so the hype machine is, I feel like I'm kind of living in the Matrix a little bit right now. Mm-hmm. Like, is this real life type of situation?
Did you know, you didn't think that you would see it from
no,
that side?
And it's, you know, but anyway, and also,
I understand. I understand exactly what you're trying to articulate right there. I get it, because people do they will weaponize certain situations and
oh my gosh,
and turn things into some jumpstart situations, and that's terrible
to go down a certain narrative.
But this is exactly how it should be.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't care if it was black, white, Asian, Indian, or whoever. Like, I don't care where the person was. If it was just a mistake, it was a mistake, and highlight the mistake, and let's just get better. I don't care if it happened to a young black boy. I don't care if it happened to an older white woman. I don't care if it happened to a young Hispanic man. I don't care who the incident happened to.
Yep.
Let's fix the incident and let's make it better.
100%.
Period. And
that's a really good segue into what you really wanted to talk about, which is, go ahead.
Well, as long as
professions that you really can't, you know.
Oh yeah. So being a cop and a police officer, that's one of those high stake positions. That's a position that you take where the stakes are high all day, every day. They never know what they're going into. They never know what situation is happening. It's high stakes. And unfortunately, in those high stake positions, like I said, you just can't make mistakes. And I was thinking about other positions and professions in life that we look at and that we go through. And, we can say doctors, there are some things, but there's some things where things get misdiagnosed and you can kind of fix and do that. But I was looking at like anesthesiologist, you can't make a mistake like being an anesthesiologist. If you mistakenly give somebody just a little bit more, it's night for forever. And you don't want that. And I've seen to where a lot of anesthesiologists just, they have a tough job. And I've worked with some in the organ recovery who were former anesthesiologists when I worked in organ recovery. And they would just tell me stories about people who they worked with and tragic situations that have happened and just things that they had to go through with school and and work and insurance and things like that. So I was like, my goodness, like, it's just so much, So,
Yeah.
I didn't want to, just throw myself into this, but being a mortician, it's high stakes every day. And yes, the person and the family that we're dealing with, they are in a moment of grief and someone has passed away, and we are doing all that we can to be of assistance, but mistakes can't be made. And I'll say just human error. I'll just say human error. I'll instead of saying mistakes, but just if a family orders programs, memorial folders, handouts, Black people, we call them obituaries. If we don't proof that thing 10 times, and if I see that I get to the day of the service and the birthday is wrong on the handouts, mom's going to be upset. Mom is going to be upset that we messed these programs up.
I really didn't think about this before you brought it up. Dude.
I can't make a mistake on that program. You can't do it. Oh, you were supposed to order, a standing easel spray, and you didn't order that standing easel spray that said, Grandma, we love you. And now the grandkids are like, this day is ruined. Like, this whole day is absolutely ruined. You're supposed to play this song at this point in time, and you didn't play this song. You didn't play my mom's favorite song, and you done with the service. This day is ruined. So it's human error. And this is something that, a lot of people, we deal with this every day. So that's why it's high stakes every day. And yes, we get to a point to where we are focusing on, the whole totality, but we really have to make sure that we're getting everything right at every single turn. So
I got a question for you. So when you're collecting this data, that's like their birth date and, whatever else you need, are you like the first and only person that's putting that information in, and then it just pretty much disseminates to everybody else, like the headstone, like you said, the programs and the easel and things like that?
So,
or do they ask their own questions type thing?
What do you mean, do they ask their own questions?
Like, are they in direct contact with the customer or the
So it's
person?
us. So but I'll say before we get to all of, like, to the headstone, we do double, triple, and all of that with proof. So I'll say from the beginning,
right.
We'll have that arrangement conference. I'll share it with you about.
Yeah.
We're sitting down, and my job in that position is to really be the best listener that I can be,
right,
and try to figure out just what it is that the family is asking of me, and make sure that I meet those needs. So if we want 150 programs for this service, and let's say John's favorite color were red and yellow, and they want to incorporate red and yellow, I need to make sure I incorporate some reds and some yellow into that program, because John's favorite color was red and yellow. So
you sure that wasn't Ronald?
Could have been Ronald. And so
McDonald?
There he is, boy. He good. He's good. So just making sure that we getting all that information right. So just listening, paying attention, double checking, triple checking. We have a system that if you follow the system, then you're good. On the front of the folder, if you follow it and you keep up with it, you're good. But sometimes when you're juggling, 5, 6, 9, different families, and there are 3 daughters over here, and a couple of grandchildren, and this person's reaching out, and then this person wants to make a change, and I've seen it to where things just fall through the cracks. Unfortunately, it just happened. Things may fall through the cracks. And
well, it's a lot that sits on your shoulders too. Like, as if you're, what do you call it? emceeing the or what do you call it? I forget what the term you use is, but it's when you're like they're making sure that the ceremony goes.
Just working the funeral, just conducting the funeral service. Yeah. Well, we're
okay, so you're conducting or whatever.
Yeah, we're just working the service. Yeah. So just the funeral director is there, just.
So if you're doing that and then things kind of go awry, what next? What happens?
So and this is
kind of
something
go with the flow, like whatever you need, I'll do it.
And this is something, if someone wants to get in the funeral business or something like that, it's always best to just remain calm.
Yeah.
You have to remain calm. I'm not going to go into deep detail. I can't confirm or deny, but there was a situation that's happened recently where someone just really was worked up about a situation, and it was more of he said, she said, and then it got to this person, and this person got worked up, and it wasn't even on the family's radar, and it wasn't even the individuals that were supposed to be involved. They weren't even there, so it was just a back and forth, and but this person just made the situation just go to 1,000, and it's like, no, you have to remain calm. So if something happens, if something goes this way or that, just try to insert yourself in, fix the situation if you can, and keep going. A lot of times the family doesn't even know. I mean, now you'll walk in and the casket spray can be on backwards, and it's like, okay, we'll just go up, we'll fix it, flip it around, put it there. We need to change something here or change something there. All right, let's pull these, let's fix that, and let's go from there. So, right. I always just tell people, just try to be calm in those situations and just communicate. For me, I'm big on communication. I think that helps a lot. So.
Oh yeah, I firmly believe in that. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting. Bringing it back to police officers, I know I've heard a bunch of stories. You go on YouTube, you can find all the things, the good, the bad, the ugly, involving police officers. I do keep up with a guy named Donut Operator. Donut, if you're watching this, hey, love your work.
Are you saying donuts?
Donut.
So yep. Donut Operator?
Donut Operator, yep.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Yeah. And basically he goes through and he's a former law enforcement officer. And he kind of goes through and in a very, his audience is probably like police officers and other people, right? He's very like kind of, in my opinion, that's very his I don't know, demeanor is kind of like that. Anyway, but if you go on YouTube, you can find him, and you can also find tons of videos where people are interacting with cops and stuff, and it goes, it can go really well, it can go really poorly. A lot of the negative ones are online, and I would just say that cops have it pretty poorly right now. There's a lot of people retiring. There's a lot of people not getting into. There's a lot of departments that are many people low because they can't get people to apply. Not many people want to be want to be the focus of all the people that don't like cops. Yeah. And right now, in particular, there's a bunch of young people that really don't like the cops more than they have in the past, I would say. And it's very dangerous for people that are in law enforcement. And I've been told by many law enforcement officers, like, don't get in right now. Don't. Why would you do that when you can go make the same money somewhere else, or maybe a little bit less, but not have your life at risk? Yeah. That's dangerous. At one point, we were, within the last, like I said, 8 years or so, maybe 12. People were just walking by police cars and shooting police officers sitting in their cars. So, not cool. But as far as a profession goes, it's definitely, in my opinion, it's one of the most prestigious and one of the most. There's a lot of pressure there to perform and do the right thing, and everybody has to swear in as a police officer to uphold the law, and also to to their duty to the citizens. Serve and protect the citizens of the whatever place that they're protecting. And that's a really big deal to me and to a bunch of these people that I know that are in law enforcement. But it's also like people don't realize when you become a police officer, I haven't done this personally, but when people become police officers, a lot of people change and they become jaded and they see people as this or that. And and then there's also a subset of police officers that I've noticed, is just my perspective here, is that police officers will sometimes be like, hey, I'm just a normal guy. Like, I go up there and I clock in and I become a police officer, and this is what I do for a living, and then I take my card and then I go back home, and then I'm not a police officer right now, you know? And
I know a bunch of those guys.
Yeah, dude.
I know a bunch of those guys.
And what would you say of these guys?
What
would you say of them?
I love you.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Yeah. You guys are great. All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. All
awesome.
right. So
awesome.
And that's I guess that's the line. You know, that's I guess that's kind of where we are when it comes to, do you allow your profession to define you, or do you define yourself? I'm just trying to figure out the best way to say it. It's like, yes, you're Jimmy, but are you cop Jimmy all the time? Are you just policeman Jimmy all the time? Or are you just Jimmy who's a cop? I'm Jimmy, and
who happens to do this?
Just so happen to be a cop.
Yeah.
And I mean, hey, I'm not a pushover. Like, you're not about to, take advantage of people in front of me. You're not going to, do wrong or do anything like that. But
right.
I'm not going to allow just this position to be, hey, all of encompassing of who it is that I am. And I think sometimes some people get caught up in, hey, I'm policeman Jimmy. Hey, I'm policeman Jack, or hey, I'm policeman this, and it's like, hey,
becomes their identity, basically.
And it's all
right.
It's, I mean, from sun up to sundown. It's just like, hey, like, just be you and be great at your job. And that's something I think that worked for me as well. And because not too many people will meet a mortician, and so you'll just get the whole encompassing that I just walk around in a black suit all day, and I'm like standing in the corner looking crazy, and I have stuff in my car that people
hey man, you want to pick out a casket?
Let's go underneath I got a casket in my room that I sleep in and stuff. I'm just like, I'm just Ray, man. Like, I'm Ray who happens to be a mortician.
Yeah.
Pretty decent mortician, but I'm just Ray, and I'm not just mortician Ray all day. And I think, like you said, like, some people just get caught up in that, and I think that's where those lines kind of get blurred a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, and also, like, I feel like the jobs we're kind of talking about jobs where people can't make mistakes, or it's, very detrimental. People die, or it ruins a whole, life event
Mm-hmm.
type thing.
Yeah.
And, these are the kinds of people that, if you're not getting enough sleep, it's been proven scientifically, like, you're basically giving yourself a little bit of brain damage.
Mm.
You're not walking, you're basically intoxicated with awakeness. So,
hey man,
preaching to the crowd here.
Just call me out when I'm,
Yeah. So, but also, like, that's when some mistakes can happen, and if you're not on your game, Ray takes care of himself. He's on a constant regimen of, a very calculated amount of sleep, but also doing what's it called? Care.
Yeah, self-care.
And
self-care. Vitamins, minerals, making sure we're getting electrolytes in,
hydrated.
making sure I'm hydrated, making sure. I mean, I try my best to stay away from sugar, but we try to eat decent, and just walk every day, literally. Just walk on a treadmill every day. That helps a lot. So just trying to do a lot of preventative things to help with the lack of sleep that I don't get. But it's calculated. But it's like you said, it's calculated, man.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I know that I can't just scroll on the phone or go hang out with everybody on this day or tomorrow. Like, I really need to get in the bed at this point of time, to take a nap for this amount of time, to wake up and be good at X, Y, and Z. So,
and it takes a special kind of person to do what you do, for sure.
I'm not
I
special.
think
I'm not special.
You are special. You are special. I disagree.
I can't make the joke we used to make back in the 1900s, but Okay.
in the 1900s special.
Can't do that, you know.
Hey, we're all a little special,
Yeah,
aren't we?
we're all a little special. That we are.
So what else, Ray? What do you think?
I think that was great. You know, I really want the highlight of this to be what you just said to me, because now I get to, like I said, I love when I'm able to be put in a situation to where I can see things from multiple different sides, and you did that, and you helped me with that, whereas I could have stayed on the side that I was looking in and not, you know, looking at it from all sides. So thank you for.
I don't even have a dog in that fight. I don't even have a dog in that fight.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, but it's
just.
just. But that, I think that's even better, because you were just able just to speak freely, and like I said, I was able to just remember back to where, man, like, yes, there were situations like this, and it could have been. And some people don't like to think in the woulda, coulda, shouldas, and yeah, I get that. But man, I'm just thankful that I was able to open that you were able to help open my eyes to that. So appreciate you.
Man, I'm so glad to offer that. Hopefully I can be offer a little bit of perspective sometimes.
You do, man. You do. Off camera and
same here. You changed my perspective constantly, so I've got some work to do myself.
No, we striving. That's the thing, man. We never get to a point to where we know it all, we have it all, or anything like that. And I don't like when people say they're trying to do this. Like, we're striving, because we're on the road. So you're striving. Like, you're striving towards, you know, understanding everything, and you're bringing light to me, and I'm sharing things with you, and we're sharing things with the people who go with us on this journey. So, I mean, and we
appreciate you guys doing that, guys. Really.
Absolutely.
We really do. And we want to turn this into a place where people can have their perspectives changed through conversation, and be kind of an example to other people about what conversations can look like between a white guy and a black guy, or a Democrat and a Republican, or a transgender and a straight guy, or it could be anybody. It could be anybody. We just want you guys to see, and we want to go down this journey with you, showing and participating in a conversation, that isn't, that doesn't explode, doesn't, like you were talking about, like, moving some furniture and stuff, not going to move any furniture today.
Like you said, just a conversation. Like, that's at the basis of it all, just having a conversation. And listen, at the end of the day, your perspective may not change on what it is that you think or what you feel.
Yeah.
But just having that conversation with someone, it may just enlighten you to a couple of different things, and 100%. You may be able to just see something else from another light, which is also a plus. So it's not about, hey, I'm going to listen to this person, and this person is going to just change everything that I feel, I think, and my whole family is going to get indoctrinated with everything that this person said. No, that's not the thing. It's just, hey, this is how I feel about a certain situation. I see that you feel this way. Can you help me to see something from your perspective that I'm not able to see? Okay, hey, thank you for sharing your story. I hear you. Not something necessarily for me, but I appreciate you sharing that story with me. And hey, man, we can agree to disagree and still go hang out and take a couple shots of tequila. Like, it doesn't have to be that big of a deal.
The good stuff.
The good stuff, not El Cheapo, man. Give me.
Oh.
So if somebody can find a bottle of Fortaleza out there, if anybody can find some Fortaleza, please let me know. I'll Zelle you. I'll send whatever your way.
100%.
If you can get your hands on some Fortaleza, let me know, please. Thank you in advance. As I digress.
Well, guys, thank you so much for sticking it with us, sticking in there with us. We have so much more to talk about. Today, we are getting our bearings back from being in vacation. We plan on coming back with some really cool stuff. We've got some very exciting things in the near future.
Oh, boy.
And we will be soon to tell you guys what's going on with that. But in the meantime, thank you again. We really appreciate you guys being a part of our audience and being a part of the conversation. Please, anything that you guys come up with, like, just leave it in the comments below, and or you can send us a message directly, and we'd love to start some conversations with this one. And in the meantime, thank you guys so much for watching us here at No Color Thick Skin Podcast. I'm Paul.
I am Ray.
Thank you guys so much. We'll see you in the next one, guys.
Peace.